Hello, my name is Paul Reiber. I'm a past president of the Krenov Foundation and a graduate of the Krenov School. And I'm here today interviewing students as they complete their 24, 25 school year and talking with them about what their experiences have been like and what they're doing next.
Hello, I'm Fabian Elmers. I'm finishing my second year at the Krenov School.
What projects did you do this year?
My first project was a display case on a stand, kind of based on a rouleau triangle, which is a kind of rounded triangle where each facet is like the arc of a circle. And that was challenging but fun to make. And then my second project was a lounge chair designed by our very own Eiler.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
What was that decision-making process, deciding what to do, a challenge or
The first one was I spent, given that it was my second year, I spent the summer kind of thinking about projects I wanted to do, what kind of new skills I wanted to try and uh, learn. And I've tended towards doing Kirby work, so my first project ended up being rather Kirby, but I hadn't done anything with glass, so it was really just wanting to do something on a stand and with a with glass involved. And then the second one was, well, it took me a little longer than expected to finish my first project. So the second one was, can I get this done? And I ended up finishing the chair in 5 weeks. I didn't believe I could do it, so I took it as a challenge.
uh, did you have expectations for your second year that did or did not get met?
I think it was mainly, just being able to be in the space, have the instructors as a resource to help guide and ask questions. I found coming into my second year, just I felt a lot more confidence and trusting my ability to make decisions, and then I could just use the teachers as a resource to make sure that I was on the right path. Uh, and and then just the having the being able to mentor the incoming first years on like how things are done in the shop and where to find things, what the processes are, because there's just so much information to take in. You didn't realize how much you retained because it felt like I didn't retain anything because there was so much information. I took detailed notes and often had to refer back to them, but it was mainly, uh, yeah, just realizing how much you learn in the short amount of time here. Um, so yeah, I don't know if that answered your
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. Were there things that you wish you'd gotten out of this year that looking back on it, you regret not getting or wish that you'd gotten or, realize there's a limited amount of time?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many skills to explore and like there's just never enough time to explore them all. So you really have to pick and choose what you want to explore. And try to because you have to be mindful of what you're incorporating in your projects because there is a time frame to finish a piece. So uh it's just of course I wish there was more time to be able to explore some of these other things, and um but I'm hoping to do that in my own time afterward.
Mhm.
We'll
Mhm.
see.
Do any particular moments in this last year stand out either in terms of your relationship with your pieces or with other students or the staff?
I think it was mainly my I think first year I think I year I struggled with my own confidence in my work and just being able to execute. And, I think you can feel a lot of pressure in the room, even though it's mostly self-imposed, but, uh, and sometimes that can be a little stifling in your decision making. But I think coming into this year was learning to trust that I can execute what it is that I'm trying to trying to do. And so I think that really carried me into my second year, and just learning to do that was really, it felt really, inspire like just confidence boosting to be able to learn them. Oh, I do understand these things and can execute.
Yeah. In what other ways did the school experience uh, feel like it impacted your sense of self or your sense of future?
Mm. I mean, I think I'm very much looking forward to continuing to explore and continue to creating work, and uh just the sense of camaraderie and um the community that is around the school is really kind of amazing to kind of like feel like you're a part of, and you know that you have these resources and these relationships that are going to carry with you going forward. It's pretty awesome.
Was this year's student experience appreciably different from last year's? Like the just the sense of the student body
Yeah,
got along and
I mean, well, we grew significantly because we went from having, I think last year we were 15 to having 24. So it was noticeably different in the room, having that many more people and having to be mindful of steering your way through the room with pieces. But I think there was also a lot more energy in the room, given that it was a bigger size. So, but it was, yeah, it was fun, and almost everyone played volleyball. So we had some pretty competitive games throughout the year.
so what's next for you?
In the immediate term, I have a temporary job in what I was doing prior to coming, which is computer animation. Um, but I have a very small shop at my house, so I'm gonna continue to make work on my own, and then going forward, I don't know. I'm really hoping to like continue woodworking on my own, looking at ways of teaching and being a part of the woodworking community wherever I end up. I'm in Southern California these days, but I'm not um, locked into staying there. So just like looking for places that have good communities around making and creating, and trying to continue to explore that avenue.
What's been your experience of Fort Bragg?
I mean, it is pretty awesome little town, and there is a pretty big community of former students and everyone related to the school. Um, I I stayed last summer. I was going planning on staying a little bit longer, but this job popped up, and not having worked in a couple of years, kind of need to focus on
Mhm.
pl- paying paying for the last couple of years. But being on the coast up here, being with all this close knit community is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe I'll end up back here after my 6 month stint.
You're back to Southern
Yeah,
California. May just bounce right off.
yeah.
Yeah. Any advice that either you wish you'd gotten or that you'd like to pass on to new students coming off?
You don't realize the time that you have, when you're in it. So just making sure that you're staying on top of like creating mock-ups and starting on your project early and keeping committed to, always moving forward, and moving through decision making. And like sometimes you just have to pick and go forward. You know, the pieces you make here are kind of your first foray into this kind of fine woodworking world. So it's, try to move away from perfectionism as much as you can and, use the resources you have and just keep moving forward. Because the end of the semester and end of projects always come faster than you think they're going to come.
Yeah. Well, thank you
Yeah, you're welcome.
for talking with me.
Very welcome.